Ancient astronaut theorists have speculated that one reason extraterrestrials might have designed disc-shaped craft is so that they can instantly change direction and at tremendous speeds.
These disc-shaped craft are able to make sudden turns, turning at high speeds in any direction.
When you're thinking in terms of aerodynamics, shape should matter a great deal. But what if aerodynamics is not really relevant? What if these objects are able to employ a different kind of a science that makes aerodynamics irrelevant?
One of the concepts here is that these circular or disc-shaped craft are using anti-gravity for propulsion. They're not rockets. They're anti-gravity. They're generating their own gravitational field, which would likely be a spherical field around the craft.
Is it possible that reports of disc-shaped objects changing direction at incredible speeds, some of which have even been captured on video, are alien craft with anti-gravity technology? While there is no hard evidence that anti-gravity aircraft do exist, one theory is that they could be, in part, driven by centrifugal force, the force that is felt by a rotating or spinning object.
The shape of these craft is consistent with these different models of rotation around a central axis involving something with high mass and high energy.
Ancient astronaut theorists point out that such spinning wheel-like machines bear an eerie resemblance to one of the most famous and enigmatic stories from the Hebrew Bible, the story of Ezekiel's wheel.
When you have these ideas that are currently proposed of these gigantic wheels in the sky that spin on their own axis in order to create artificial gravity, I might as well be reading Ezekiel. It's very similar.
In the Bible's book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes a fiery chariot drawn by 4 living creatures. Each creature is flanked by a metallic object, a wheel within a wheel, that Ezekiel observes as it descends, making a tremendous amount of noise. In his 1968 book, Chariots of the Gods, ancient astronaut theory pioneer Erich von Däniken proposed that what was actually being described in Ezekiel was a spaceship. NASA engineer Joseph Blumrich was determined to debunk this controversial theory. But after painstaking research, the author was shocked to find himself agreeing with Erich von Däniken.
Blumrich reads Ezekiel and he has an epiphany, because what is he describing? He is describing a wheel up in space. Blumrich says, by gosh, Erich is right. And so he conceived what Ezekiel may have described in that ancient biblical text.
Ezekiel describes that the outside of the wheel doesn't spin. The inside of the wheel spins. So he's telling us that's the engines. None of this necessarily has to be magic. This could all be technology.
Perhaps what the wheel actually signifies is the secret of the gods, the secret of their extraterrestrial spacecraft, and how humans might be able to reverse engineer that wheel and ultimately make their own craft.
Is it possible that a story from the Bible's Old Testament describes the propulsion system of an extraterrestrial spacecraft? While Ezekiel's description of wheels within wheels may represent a primitive interpretation of highly advanced technology, one man claims to have first-hand knowledge that anti-gravity craft do exist. Area 51 whistleblower Bob Lazar. Investigative journalist George Knapp was the first to interview him in 1989 about the notorious military base that has long been rumored to be hiding alien technology.
He told this incredible story that he'd been working at this facility called S4, south of Groom Lake, that they had a hangar hidden in the desert to make it look like it was actually part of the desert terrain. And inside those hangars were 9 flying saucers.
So Bob Lazar was tasked at Area S4, a subsite of Area 51, to reverse engineer the power and propulsion of what we know as a flying saucer. All of the 9 craft that Lazar was able to see with his eyes were said to have worked on the same gravity system. Bob Lazar said the craft would turn belly first and the gravity wave amplifiers would all point to the place in time space where you want to go. We're talking about a gravity-propelled craft. We're talking about something that you don't have any effect of the inertia or momentum. It's just instantaneously, boom, 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 one place then the next.
Element 115 was what we would call the fuel, what provided the power for the reactor to work. Element 115 affects gravity. Element 115 produces its own gravitational energy. The resulting gravity wave creates a distortion in front of it, allowing the craft to slide forward. And that's how it proceeds.